Imagine this. You're standing backstage, heart pounding, palms sweating, a knot in your stomach. Is it fear of speaking in front of a crowd? Or is it the thrilling anticipation of sharing your ideas? Or perhaps you're about to ride a towering roller coaster, those very same sensations bubbling up. Are you terrified or absolutely buzzing with excitement? It's a common human experience, isn't it? That intense surge of physical sensation that leaves us wondering, what exactly am I feeling? For years, we've thought of emotions like anxiety and excitement as polar opposites, sitting at different ends of a vast spectrum. But what if I told you that deep down, inside your body, they're practically identical twins? Today, we're going to delve into a truly fascinating topic: why anxiety and excitement feel so similar, and more importantly, how understanding this connection can transform the way we experience and navigate high-stakes moments in our lives. We'll explore the shared roots of these powerful emotions and uncover how our minds hold the key to telling them apart. Let's start with your body, because that's where the story truly begins. When you feel anxious or excited, your body kicks into high gear in remarkably similar ways. This isn't just a hunch, it's a well-documented physiological response. Both states activate what's known as the sympathetic nervous system, essentially your body's natural fight or flight mechanism. Think about it. That elevated heart rate? Check. Rapid, shallow breathing? Check. The clammy hands and the unsettling butterflies fluttering in your stomach? Absolutely. You might even notice muscle tension, a heightened sense of alertness, and the rush of adrenaline and cortisol flowing through your system. These are all signs your body is preparing for action, ready for whatever comes next, whether it's a perceived threat or an incredible opportunity. It's almost like your body has a universal alarm system. When it goes off, it creates a powerful sense of arousal, a state of heightened energy. But that alarm system doesn't come with labels. It doesn't scream, "Warning, danger," or "Alert, amazing adventure ahead." It simply says, "Wake up, something important is happening." The physical sensations themselves are neutral. They're just raw data. So if our bodies are reacting in almost the same way, how do we end up with such different emotional experiences? This is where our minds step in, and it's a concept known as Cognitive Appraisal Theory, developed by pioneering psychologists like Richard Lazarus and Susan Folkman. This theory suggests that our emotions aren't just direct reactions to events, but rather to our subjective interpretation of those events. It starts with what's called primary appraisal. This is your brain's initial, lightning-fast assessment of a situation. You unconsciously ask yourself, is this situation threatening? Is it harmful? Is it challenging? Or is it benign, meaning neutral or positive? If your mind perceives a threat, even a subtle one, the physical arousal you're feeling is labeled as anxiety. You start to feel worried, fearful, or uneasy. However, if that same situation is appraised as an opportunity, a positive challenge, or something potentially rewarding, then those identical physiological sensations are instead labeled as excitement. Suddenly, the racing heart feels like anticipation, the butterflies become eagerness, and the heightened alertness transforms into focused enthusiasm. But it doesn't stop there. If the situation is significant, we move into secondary appraisal. Here, you quickly evaluate your resources to cope. Do I have what it takes to handle this? Can I succeed? If you perceive a lack of resources, if you feel unprepared or overwhelmed, that initial anxiety intensifies. It becomes a heavy, draining feeling.
Conversely, if you assess that you do have the resources, or if you see the situation as a chance to grow and test yourself, then that same arousal is transformed further into genuine excitement, coupled with a strong sense of anticipation, optimism, and even joy. It's truly remarkable how our internal narrative dictates our emotional reality. This brings us to a crucial point about managing our emotions: the power of reappraisal. Because anxiety and excitement are both high arousal states, it's actually much easier for our minds to shift between them than it is to try and calm down from a high arousal state to a low arousal one. Think of it like this. It's easier to redirect a fast-moving train than to stop it dead in its tracks and then start a different, slower one. Research from academics like Alison Wood Brooks at Harvard Business School has really brought this to light. She's demonstrated that consciously reappraising anxiety as excitement can significantly improve performance in tasks that often trigger nervousness, like public speaking, singing karaoke, or even taking a math test. When people were told to say, "I am excited" before these tasks, rather than "I am anxious" or "I am calm," they performed better. Why? Because this simple cognitive shift helps us adopt an opportunity mindset instead of a threat mindset. Instead of focusing on what could go wrong, we start to anticipate what could go right. We become more persuasive, feel more competent, project greater confidence, and engage more fully. It's about channeling that energy, not trying to suppress it. So how can you put this into practice? It starts with mindful self-talk. When you feel those familiar physical sensations, the racing heart, the butterflies, acknowledge them. Then, rather than defaulting to, "Oh no, I'm so anxious," try consciously stating, "I am excited." You can also engage in positive reframing, actively looking for the potential positive outcomes or learning experiences in a situation. Even a few moments of mindfulness can help you observe these sensations without immediately labeling them negatively. This research directly challenges a very common piece of advice we often hear: just try to calm down. While well-intentioned, telling someone to calm down when they're highly aroused is often ineffective. It demands a twofold shift, not only from a negative emotional valence to a positive one, but also from a high energy state to a low energy one. It's asking a lot of your body and mind simultaneously. The get excited strategy, on the other hand, leverages the existing high arousal. It says, okay, your body is already pumped up. Let's just change the story your mind is telling about why it's pumped up. This makes the transition much more feasible and impactful for situational or performance anxiety. Now, it's important to clarify that this reappraisal technique is most directly applicable to transient, high-stakes situations, those moments of performance anxiety or acute anticipation. While anxiety regulation strategies are vital for chronic anxiety disorders, the specific advice to simply reappraise as excitement might require a more nuanced approach in a clinical context. The primary focus here is on those everyday instances where we misinterpret our body's neutral arousal signals. So the next time your heart starts to race and your stomach does flips, remember this: your body is simply responding to something significant. The choice of whether to label that feeling as anxiety or excitement often lies within your own mind. It's a powerful insight, one that gives us agency over our emotional experiences. So the next time your heart starts to race and your stomach does flips, remember this: your body is simply responding to something significant. The choice of whether to label that feeling as anxiety or excitement often lies within your own mind. It's a powerful insight, one that gives us agency over our emotional experiences.
By understanding the shared physiological roots of these emotions and the profound influence of cognitive appraisal, you gain a valuable tool. You can learn to lean into those intense sensations, reframe them, and transform what might have been a draining experience into an energizing one. Try it. The simple act of consciously choosing your interpretation can open up new possibilities and help you embrace life's challenges and opportunities with renewed enthusiasm.